When you're in the test room, the examiner may ask you a question which you don't understand, or you find it difficult to hear exactly what the examiner said. In different parts of the test, the examiner is allowed to do different things to help you to understand. It is important that you know what you can and can't do in each part if you're having trouble understanding the question. In part 1, the questions should not be too difficult, so hopefully you will find the questions quite easy to understand and you'll be able to answer them quickly. However, at the start of the test, you may be feeling a bit nervous and finding it difficult to follow what the examiner says to you. So, if you're having trouble understanding or hearing what the examiner says, there is something you should do. Ask for repetition. Just ask the examiner to say the question again. Many students don't want to do this as they think the examiner will give them a lower score. Of course, you don't want to do this for every question, but it's better for you to understand the question properly rather than not understanding and giving an answer that does not really answer the question. Let's just look at a few phrases you could use to get the examiner to say the question again. Remember, you're in the exam to show the examiner your English communication skills. Asking someone to repeat a question effectively and politely is a skill you can show the examiner. A quick and effective way to show the examiner you didn't hear the question clearly is to say, "Pardon?" The examiner will immediately repeat the question. By saying this, it is not really showing a weakness in your communication skills. It is showing some strengths. You're showing off your knowledge of vocabulary and also your pronunciation skills, as you need to use the correct intonation to show it's a question. Another word that has the same function is sorry. In this context, and with the same intonation, it can be used in the same way as pardon. These are not the only ways you can get the examiner to repeat the question, but they are probably the quickest. You can use longer phrases to hear the question again. And by using a longer phrase, you're showing the examiner more of your English speaking skills. There are probably hundreds of phrases you could use, but I'll just give you a couple of polite and effective examples. You could say, "Could you repeat the question, please?" Or, "Would you mind repeating the question?" Both phrases are using full sentences and showing a bit more than just pardon or sorry, but they have exactly the same purpose. We could even add a sentence before or after these questions to explain why you need repetition. Something like, "I'm not sure I heard you correctly," or "I'm not sure I understand perfectly." Now you have a few options with what to say if you do need the examiner to repeat the question. This should definitely not be overused. You should really only use phrases like these once or twice in the whole of part 1, and only use it when you really need to. The examiner will repeat the question in exactly the same way they said it the first time. The examiner is not going to change any of the vocabulary or explain something to make it easier for you to understand. So, there is a chance that you still won't understand the question. It is important that you attempt to answer the question even if you're still unsure of what is being asked. It is better to guess and get it wrong than say nothing at all. If you really don't understand after repetition, you can pick out some of the key words you do understand and focus your answer on that. Hopefully, you can pick out what the question wants you to do. Is it a why question or a how question? A do you question? Try to work out what the question is asking. Maybe you can catch what the topic is. Maybe you heard the word family, shopping, or hobby. There is a chance that your attempt at an answer doesn't directly answer the question, but it's certainly better than saying nothing at all. Thanks for watching. If you found the video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss any future videos.